experience is always better in a group. The Christian experience doubly so. We're just a group of gamers that love to talk about life, God, and video games in no particular order. So whether you're a newbie or a grizzled ancient like us, we want to help each other roll the level.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Roll the Level, where we are going to have a conversation about life, God, and video games in no particular order. My name is Dame, and I am glad to be back with my two co-hosts and very, very dear friends, Matt and Sarah. Matt, how are you doing today?
I am doing very well. I'm very tired, but I'm very, very well. And I'm rocking a Shiner today, so that's kind of fun.
I was going to say, you you definitely looked like you got maybe the better end of
Oh, that snow shovel never knew I hit it. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that was an interesting day. Long story short, I ended up slamming my face against the butt end of a shovel while trying to clear an icy pathway. The shovel got caught, and the full force of my body right into my cheekbone. So now I've got this awesome shiner that leads down to bruising all over my cheek.
It is rather impressive. It is.
Yeah.
It is rather impressive, which is why we're not doing video today.
It's true. My daughter, last night, she's like, "Dad, what happened to your eyes?" Like, "Oh, I got in a fight with a bear." And she's like, "Really?"
And
it's
I
like,
won.
"Yeah, that poor bear, man. I feel so bad for it."
Nice.
It's good. It's good.
You realize that she's going to tell that story long into her 20s.
I am the dad. I am
yep.
the
And
hero,
that's-
the myth, the legend.
Then there's no more Canadian story. Then the only thing that really could make it better would be that you got in a fight with a bear on your way to Tim Hortons to pick up some maple glazed donuts.
Absolutely. And he ripped my favorite plaid shirt.
He ripped your favorite plaid shirt.
But then
Well,
they
no,
were
no, no,
sold
no. He spilled maple syrup on your favorite plaid shirt,
That's what started the fight.
and that's what started the fight.
It's good. It's good.
And Matt's just like, pitter patter, let's get at her. And
Yeah,
just
that's right. Yeah. You gonna do this? We do this? We do
We're
this
gonna
now?
do this. Let's get at it. Sarah, how are you doing today?
Not as crazy awesome as that. But,
Well, it's hard to top fighting a bear. I mean, let's be honest.
I think I finally recovered from extra life tiredness, so
Nice.
back to normal now.
How did that go for you guys?
Great.
It was a good couple days.
Other than your
Yeah.
internet pooping out, it was
Yeah, my
great.
internet chopped a couple times. I forgot about that. But yeah, there
was
was
fun.
a few moments of what the crap. But it was good though. We raised $1,300 ish.
I think so. And I still have to put more
awesome.
in.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome! Yeah, so it was that part of it was great. We raised a whole crap ton of money for
McMaster Children's Hospital.
McMaster's, which was awesome, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I feel like we're getting better at it every year as far as
Yeah.
the tech and the streamlining and process and
Yeah,
so
and getting on
It's-
top of donations, not
It's
the last week.
It's almost like when you put extra time into something and you repeat something over and over again that you get better at it.
Who'd have
right,
thunk?
right. It's a weird idea.
It's a weird concept. Weird concept. Well, we are speaking about getting better at things. I feel like this season we've been a bit better and a bit more consistent about just kind of getting content out and having a little better organization with some of these conversations. And we are on our final episode for the season,
are.
which is
Craziness.
crazy and exciting and sad at the same time, because
Yes,
it
all
means
true.
that
Truth.
we're going to be taking about a month break here over the Christmas holiday to navigate all of the Christmas craziness. I was telling these guys before the show that now that I've officially moved into Christmastown, USA, every day in December is going to be just bonkers. I kid you not. The town that I live in started decorating for Christmas about a month ago.
I have mad
And
respect for your town.
and I mean it is on like Donkey Kong, man. It is so impressive right now, and I know that we haven't even seen the half of it just yet. But yeah, they're expecting somewhere in the ballpark of 600,000 or more people to travel to McAdenville, North Carolina to see Christmas lights. And the
That's
crazy
awesome.
and the crazy awesome thing about that too is that the church that I'm a part of has this legacy of handing out hot chocolate during the
great.
event as well, which is awesome. So every night, I believe, we have something going on here, and it's like till the dark 30 in the evening. So
Yeah.
Oh,
it's gonna
boy.
be a crazy month. So I'm hoping that I see you all on the other side of that. But
That'll be good.
so today we're just gonna close this out, since this is gonna be our last episode of 2019. We're gonna close this out with some of the greatest hits and saddest misses of 2019 when it comes to gaming. So we're gonna be having a little bit of a round table here about this. We all have different tastes in video games, so this is gonna be an interesting conversation.
Please be kind.
It's true.
So, Sarah, you seemed pretty convinced when I brought the idea up of you knew exactly which games you were like, yes, this was
100%.
the epic game of the year for you.
Yep.
All right, go for it. Take it away.
Fire Emblem Three Houses, hands down, game of the year. Fight me. Like,
Wow.
No, I already fought a bear.
I
I've met my quota.
loved that game. I dropped, like, I was in the middle of Dragon Quest Builders, loving it. I 100% dropped it like a rock for Fire Emblem.
So what
It was just so good. Like, the story was great. The fact that it was kind of like Hogwarts-esque, because you are in like a school, and you can choose between three houses. And they're very different storylines, very different classes that you get to learn about and go through and make relationships with. And the battle system was, it had lots of choice. You can go hardcore mode. They added in even worse mode. I can't even remember what it's called. Starts with an M. It's evil. But I played, I played baby mode, and it was just fun for me just to go through it and not have to worry about losing any of my characters. And I don't have enough time to reload every time I lose a character and do a whole battle over again. But I played my first playthrough 60 hours. I started a second playthrough right after it because I wanted to know the other storylines. It was so good.
Oh wow.
And it was like one of those games that made me stay up to 3 a.m. every morning because I was obsessed with it.
That's impressive.
So
that is very,
100%
very
game of the year.
impressive, because I know that there were several games this year that you were so excited about.
we don't talk about Kingdom Hearts right now. I haven't even started it.
I wasn't even going to mention that.
Oh,
I was actually
good,
going
'cause
to. I was.
I'd have to
actually
play it first.
Oh, okay. I was actually going to go back to Tales of Vesperia.
Oh, I played the crap out of that too.
So,
But I was going for 100% platinum, and I got a little bit burnt out. So
a little bit.
I'm like 2/3 of the way through.
Okay.
But I will go back.
I just know that last year that was one of the titles that you were really, really, really excited for.
It is so good. But yeah, I definitely got a little bit burnt out. So
Yeah,
I will go
that's fair.
back.
I understand that. Matt, what about you? What was one of the
Oh
highlights of the
man,
year for you games-wise?
it's interesting. I feel like I played like a million games this year, but because I played a million games, I didn't really get to invest a lot in any one of them. Like it was just a heavy year for reviews, which not a bad thing by any stretch, but it's just there were so many games on the go. So I only really got invested in a couple of them, but I think the one that actually stands out the most to me for a couple of reasons, but it's The Outer Worlds, which just came out a 3 weeks ago. That game, man, it's just it caught me off guard because, like, I remember when the announcement trailer came out, and I figured we'd be a few years before it was released, but then it was like, boom, here it is. And you know, there's a lot of comparisons to like Fallout 4 and things like that.
New Vegas mostly.
Yeah, New Vegas and things like that. But I would argue this is in its own league, man. Like comparatively, like they took the very best. It feels like they took the very best bits of the Fallout series, with some of the story arcs and things like that, and then just streamlined the crap out of it. So for me that's huge because open world stuff, and I mean arguably this isn't as open as some of the other titles, but it's open world enough for me that I could stay focused, really get invested in the characters. The voice acting in this game is just over the moon amazing. Like it's so good, and I get so heavily invested in the characters. And like I really do feel like it's just a Firefly video game for me, and that's so good. I'm still. What's that, buddy?
Something that you've been looking for quite some time.
100%. Yeah, they had announced a few years ago they were working on an MMO, like an independent company, and they got the blessing of the studio, and then it just kind of flopped. And I'm super sad about that. But so this has been like just the escapism to the max for me, because you got this like you've actually got a ship called the Unreliable, like that's the name of your ship, and the onboard AI is like just absolutely incredible, and all the characters are amazing, and so it's almost like it's allowing me to dip my toes into like a Fallout experience. But not invest like the 80 hours and really enjoy the experience. And the humor is excellent. The combat's really good. Like I've actually been impressed, especially on PC. I played it on Xbox and it was okay there. I found it didn't, I don't know, just visually it wasn't amazing. But then when I played it on PC and turned it up to 11, oh my word, it's a gorgeous game. And there's some really cool mechanics. Like you can take a base weapon. Like if you like, I have this one pistol that I absolutely love, mostly because it reminds me of Firefly. But anyway, and I got it at like level 2, and I'm still rocking it, and I'm over halfway through the game. But you can just keep upgrading things and keep modifying things and all this stuff. So yeah, hands down, my game of the year has been Outer Worlds. It came out of nowhere. I wasn't overly hyped for it. And then just on a whim, I think Sarah, you and I were talking about it or something, and you said it was on Game Pass. Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, I'll try that out. And then when I found it came on Game Pass for PC, I was like, I'm in. So in lieu of the fact that Doom Eternal got bumped till next year, which will be my game of the year next year, just calling it now, I would say that Outer Worlds, hands down, is the game for me, for sure.
It was definitely awesome to the end.
I'm exceptionally excited to try that game out, because everything that I hear about it is a thing that I'm like, this is a game that I would enjoy.
Dude, you're gonna love this game.
I know. Eventually I'll get there.
Get Game Pass for $1.
Anyway. We'll see how that goes. I think I might be able to scrounge that up. I might be.
Right. Dude, I will. Yeah, I'll PayPal you $1 just so you can go get it, man. That's good.
It'd be like $1.50 Canadian, but still.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. But it's a sacrifice in a coffee. I'd sacrifice coffee.
Yeah,
for you.
that's true.
100%.
That's true.
100%.
Yeah, I could.
That's
totally
how much.
do that.
That's how much I love you. I would sacrifice coffee for you.
Thanks,
So
Matt. Thanks,
it's good.
Matt.
But
that means the world.
I do want to highlight a game real quick though, because I think another game, and I won't spend a lot of time here, but I think it's an important game. Because it's changing the landscape of multiplayer, and I think it's noteworthy, and that's Dauntless. It officially released this year.
Okay.
It's been in beta for a while, and it's actually pretty fun, kind of loot shoot kind of game, hack slash loot repeat. But what is so impressive about the game is that it was the first title to fully embrace the crossplay experience. That we've had, like straight across, not just it's cross save, it's cross play, the whole nine. Like it is everything that gamers have been begging for the last 5 years. Came out in Dauntless, and it's the first game to really embrace that. But as a result, we're starting to see other titles do that, and so that's also on my game of the year, but more because of the technical feat and what it's accomplished and the new standard it's setting. And it's trickling down, like we see it in Destiny with cross save. Which is kind of the first step in that. Eventually, I hope we get crossplay, but that's another discussion. Modern Warfare is now doing crossplay, which is really cool.
Quite well.
So just a quick note on that game. That I think it's worthy of noting the technical feat. Also, it was a Canadian company that built that game. Just random.
Awesome.
Yeah, Phoenix Labs. They did that. So anyway, that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, for me, like there have been several games this year that have been standout. Obviously, you guys know I'm a huge Destiny fan. That goes without saying. The stuff that this big surprise there. The stuff that's been going on in Destiny has been really good. Shadowkeep has been probably. It's been a good expansion. I don't want to say that it's been my favorite expansion, but I like the direction in which the game
100%.
is going.
Yeah.
And some of the ways that the game systems are shifting and changing. I think I'm mostly okay with with the way that things are going. They're definitely leaning hard into some of the MMO tropes, and some of that's good, some of that's not so good.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's been fairly well balanced so far, though. With the MMO, like leaning into MMO stuff, I don't feel overwhelmed by it yet.
Yeah, I think because I hit 950 I hit the actual like gear cap at 950. Trying to figure out how to get those pinnacle rewards and slog through that grind up from there is kind of an interesting one. And part of that is just that I haven't spent enough time actually taking a look at what's necessary to keep going and keep progressing and also ask the question of, is that even something that I want to do? Like, is that something that does that help me to enjoy the game better?
Fair.
I don't know one way or the other if that's the case, but anyway, so Shadowkeep has been good. Just kind of games worthy of mention here. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, amazing Metroidvania game on PC.
That is a caveat because we both reviewed it.
Yeah, we both reviewed it. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. But I think the game that was probably the most captivating to me this year was, and actually it came out today at the time of releasing or of recording this episode. Sarah, it was actually Tokyo Ghoul. No,
also okay.
It was Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and I can now officially talk about this. I don't recall having played a Star Wars game in which I got so quickly invested in the characters and that I cared so much about the story, and that felt like it was. Star Wars games are always kind of funny because, like, anytime you play a Star Wars game, you want to play a Jedi, right? You want to play something that has a lightsaber. Like, that's just it's Star Wars. It's synonymous with it. It's what you do. And so I loved games like the Jedi Knight games, Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy. Those were
Force Awakens.
Those were amazing.
Force Unleashed.
Unleashed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you ever
I
play
got it.
Unleashed?
Really?
I don't do Star Wars.
I didn't really get into the Force Unleashed games.
Neither did I.
I played one of them and I was like, it's okay.
100%.
It was
100%.
okay, but not anything to write home about.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I thoroughly appreciated that this particular journey that you go on is one that you see growth in the characters and you see them develop and their backstories matter, and there are little things throughout the way that end up having these like really, really, really big payoffs. And there were some really incredibly emotional moments within the story, and then combine that with pretty satisfying content in a beautiful, beautiful world, and it just made for a really, really great experience for me. And I did get to go to the preview event for it, which was awesome, and I shared a little bit about that in the side quest last week. But anyway, it was this experience was just one of the best digital Star Wars experiences that I've ever had.
Is it good because it's Star Wars, or is it good as a game by itself? Because I don't do Star Wars. So would I like it not being Star Wars human?
That's a good question.
It is. I think that it's good as a game without the Star Wars IP. Because storytelling wise, you could cut and paste that story and make it something, or change the elements of the story and have it not be a Star Wars story and still have it be an impactful story. There are still moments within that. There are some payoffs that there are some moments that wouldn't make as much sense if it weren't a Star Wars story. But by and large, it does a good job of being a great story and a great game on its own. But being a part of a storied franchise certainly helps it out a lot.
Well, yeah, it's going to give it some weight that you wouldn't get
just
from a standalone, right?
Yeah.
Well, you have a lot more lore to draw on. You have a lot
that's what I
more.
mean,
There's
right.
a lot more at stake and a lot more that people care about.
A lot more investment.
Does it add anything to the universe of Star Wars?
That's a great question.
Or is it just kind of like a side story, forget about it thing? I'm asking a lot of
Just
Star
forget
Wars
about it. No, it's a good
No,
question.
I think it does. It's a stand. It stands on its own 2 feet and draws from elements within the universe. Do I think that it necessarily changes the way that I look at the Star Wars story? Not nearly. No, I don't know that it has that big of an impact.
Okay.
But I mean, it's definitely still good.
The end of this year is like what the TV show now, this game, and then the
Yeah.
new movie next month. It's just crazy Star Wars time. So
It is Star
Truth.
Wars time.
It
Yeah.
is.
Have you guys seen The Mandalorian yet?
No, I was waiting actually till today to start my free trial.
Right.
And then I
Oh,
was gonna
nice.
watch it. So,
You?
have you seen
I
it, buddy?
have not yet. No.
Oh, okay.
not-
Gotcha.
not yet.
I watched it and loved it, but I don't
Did
know
ya?
Star Wars, so yeah.
Interesting. Okay, cool. I've heard so many, like, I don't know. This is totally on an aside, and I'll spend literally a minute here. But I like to evaluate culture, right? So internet culture is always a fascinating thing for me to study. And we're in such a and it's just an extension of reaction culture. But there's such this, like, I can almost guarantee anytime anything new comes out, I can tell you the exact kind of articles you're going to see. And and it's exactly how it was with Mandalorian. You're going to get those initial, like, this is amazing. Then you're going to get the people that just want to be edgy, so they do the opposite of that.
Now it's
And then you're going to get those somewhere in the middle articles. And it happens consistently every time. And so I've just stopped reading them, and I just watch things now and enjoy
yeah.
them. So that's just
Let
me.
people enjoy things.
Yeah, right?
Speaking of being like salty and critical, let's talk about some of the games that didn't quite measure up or didn't quite meet their mark this year.
There's a lot of those.
There
I had them a
were
lot in Thought You Ought to Know.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Yeah, it's true. I'm going to jump on that one first, if that's okay.
Go for it.
I want to talk about Anthem. Because I'd forgotten to release this year. Actually, that's how long ago it was, because it
I
was
think a
beginning
lot
of
of
this
people
year.
did.
or BioWare.
Yeah. Oh, BioWare. I am so
What happened
sad.
to you?
That's exactly it, right? Like, I have this question of what's going on, and I mean, you can argue it's the EA overlords and all that stuff, and that's fine. And I would actually make an argument that that's part of the reason that Anthem is as broken as it is. But I am super disappointed, because conceptually I really liked that idea of, like, the exosuits and the open world and exploration and all that stuff. Like, it was a really cool concept to me. Because I love that stuff. Like Damon and I've talked about, like, BattleTech and all, and MechWarrior and all that stuff. I love that stuff so much. That's why I like Titanfall 2 so much, because of the Titans and stuff. It's just a great element, which if you haven't played the game. What's that?
I said Mecha for the win.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I have most of the mecha skins in Heroes of the Storm. But so conceptually, I was really excited for Anthem. But sadly, the more they revealed it and the more they talked about it, the sadder I got. And so I wasn't really surprised that it failed miserably and literally was a dumpster fire kicked out of a high rise. But it still makes me sad, because BioWare has the capacity to make incredible stories.
I don't know if anybody there that made the incredible stories is still there.
And that's the problem I think we're running into, is a lot of that talent has moved to other things and moved on. And it's not to I don't want to diss BioWare as a company, because there are absolutely talented people there, but I don't know why we're not seeing that engagement that we saw, because I saw very little coverage on the actual narrative for Anthem, right?
Was there much?
Well, that's
question.
that's the grand question, is, like, where's the narrative here? Because you build this world, you talked about your mechanics, and unfortunately a lot of those mechanics are broken. Their looting system is just hot garbage, which there's enough games out there that have figured out loot that you kind of look at them and go, why didn't you guys do some research?
Didn't they use a different color system even for their loot?
Yeah, they just went out to lunch, and it's fine to be innovative, but I don't know that innovation's really what they did, as much as just break a bunch of things.
Yeah,
So
shoot themselves in the foot, really.
yeah, so I was disappointed, because we didn't really get any narrative, right? Which is funny coming from me, because I'm a mechanics guy by nature. I like good combat mechanics. I like good simple looting mechanics, and even crafting. If it's good, I'll get into it. But it's got to be something I can easily engage with. And all that stuff is broken. But I think what kind of makes me the saddest is that the narrative just wasn't there, and it's a BioWare title. And these guys have made some incredible narrative journeys.
Just ask Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, well, that prime case, right? So anyway, so that was kind of my biggest letdown. Not that I was surprised by it. I was just sad. So yeah, that's I'll stop now.
Sarah, what about you?
I didn't really play much this year that I didn't like. I cleaned a lot of stuff out of my backlog, but
Nice.
one of the games that came out this year that I had expectations. I lowered my expectations with all like the media coverage, but I was still disappointed by Borderlands 3. It just, and I played a co-op, so I got like the experience I should have. Like
Yeah.
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 It was meh. It was so meh. Like the writing was just in 2013. It looked nicer, but I really didn't love the characters. Like I didn't grasp any of the characters. And I tried a couple, and it was, and listening to their quips was just like, like I always play Siren, and the Sirens from 1 and 2 were amazing, and this one is a snore. She is so boring. Has the worst one-liners. It is just really bad. And the story was long, and the bosses are still bullet spongy, pains in the butt. It was really meh. So I'm glad I only wasted my time on one game this year.
So would you, like, if you had to highlight, are there any areas they really improved upon in the game?
The shooting, for sure.
Shooting's tighter, like controls are tighter?
Much tighter.
Okay.
Yeah, the shootings and like you would think like the cell shaded graphics couldn't get much better than 1 and 2. Like they looked amazing there, even
Yeah.
on the 4K versions.
Yeah.
But they do look much better on here if
They
you look side by
really
side.
do. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
that
there is...
and the shooting is much tighter. But
Okay.
other than that, everything else was blah. Oh, the separate loot tables helped me not kill Tyler. So that was
okay,
good
that's
too.
good. That's good.
It saved my marriage.
They're saving marriage.
Because that's
This is
what he
2019.
always steals the best guns and just throws out all the extras. So this was much better.
That's why you go melee then in those games. Not because
That's what I
it's not
do.
because
And
you
then
don't
he's
like
mad when
shooting.
I die. It's like, well, why do you think I die?
It's because you literally
I don't
can
have a
only
gun.
use the butt end of the white
Yeah.
damaged gun. All right,
Yeah,
fair.
no.
Fair.
So yeah, that was bad.
I think one of the biggest disappointments for me this year, going back into the conversation about Bloodstained, that game was so good on
Yeah.
PC.
Yeah,
It was so good. It was the art style was beautiful. The action was awesome.
The music.
The music was spectacular.
Loved the music.
And they just they did such an incredible job. Such an incredible job of capturing the things that made Castlevania Symphony of the Night such an iconic game.
Yeah.
But they added to it. Like I felt like they added things that that were new and fresh and just told a story-wise it was a decent story. Like it was your typical like there's an evil castle, enter the evil castle, somebody nefarious that you wouldn't otherwise expect is behind the raising of the evil castle and so on and so forth. So no big surprises story-wise. But the thing that was just the most disheartening about it is that the release on the Nintendo Switch, which was the platform that I ended up reviewing the game on, was just it was terrible. It was so poorly optimized. There was such a crazy delay in the control input that for a game like that, for a Metroidvania style game where that's a faster paced Metroidvania style game, you need to be quick on the uptake and get those visual cues and whatnot. And it just was not great for it. Like I played, I think for the review, I ended up playing. I played enough on the Switch to be able to get through a decent portion. Well, I played enough on the Switch to get a feel for how it played on the Switch.
Yeah.
And then I switched over to the PC so I could actually see how the story played out.
Right.
Yeah.
And how
No, that's
how
fair.
the game played out.
Yeah.
Because it was so arduous to play on that. And Sarah, I believe you mentioned that there was a content patch,
Yes,
pretty
they
big
patched
content
the
patch.
the
that-
mega patch that's supposed to fix all your problems on Switch came out a couple weeks ago.
So I'm gonna have to go back and check that out. But it was so disheartening because again, the Super Metroid is one of my favorite SNES games. Like it's one of those games that I will go back every couple of
great
years
game.
and play. because it's just a fantastic game. And so having that not perform well on the Switch just was heartbreaking. Because I wanted a good Metroidvania game on the Switch so that I could play it on the go.
Truth. 100% agree with that.
So were there any games this year that surprised you that either you were not expecting to like, or that they were things that they just came out of left field?
Yeah.
And you were like, oh my word, it's a thing and it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go back to the Outer Worlds because again, that wasn't even on my radar. Like, a buddy of mine was super excited for it, so I kind of knew about it, and I'd seen that trailer, and I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. And then to like get so invested in it, just blew my mind. So I'm gushing about that game because I'm totally surprised at how much I've enjoyed it and enjoyed that ride. Yeah, it's been good. That's my big one, I think.
How about
The Link's Awakening port.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Forgot about
That is my biggest surprise for sure. Maybe yours, Dame, too, because it was. I've never played the original, and I don't usually play. Like, I've never played I haven't played Link to the Past or anything. Like, no 2D Zeldas. This is my first 2D Zelda.
Nice.
Really?
Actually, that's a lie. I played Oracle of Ages and Seasons and loved them, but didn't beat them. I beat Link's Awakening. I loved it. The art style is great. The music is great. It's so charming. But you could tell it's a game from the Game Boy that wanted padding because some of those puzzles and things you have to do are just so
ridiculous.
Yeah. Cut this one piece of grass in this one corner and you will find the stairs to the next temple. Like,
yeah, it's true. I would agree. I would totally agree with that sentiment.
And like, I think I did like a PSA on this, like the 16 trade quest line you have to do to get to the end of the game.
Yes, that's
that you didn't think you had to do.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. Okay, but stuff like that. But I did, like, I was starting to dislike the game near the end, and then once I like looked at the FAQ, it got much better again. But that was definitely. I'm surprised how much I loved it, considering I don't usually play 2D Zelda.
It was even a surprise that game was even being remastered. I don't even know I don't even know that we knew until, was it February's Nintendo Treehouse?
I believe it was their direct in February. Yeah,
it was like their direct in February, and they were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're doing this thing."
Yeah, and it was the big end reveal.
That was one of my favorite Game Boy titles.
Was it?
Yes.
Nice.
It's one of my favorite Game Boy titles. So when I saw that released, I was so giddy about that. I was so giddy about that.
There was some good quality of life features that were added to that too, with having the extra buttons for putting abilities on and stuff like that.
That you need all the time.
I am surprised they picked that one though, because
Bring back Oracles of Seasons and Ages.
Well, no, just I mean, like weighing them out, like biggest bang for buck, right? Just from a strictly financial standpoint, I'm surprised they didn't port Link to the Past, because I think arguably that was the bigger title. But I could be wrong. But I think that was a bigger title.
But there have been enough re-releases of Link to the Past.
You can play it. You can play it on the Switch right now.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
So whether it be Four Swords, which was essentially a Link to the Past with 4 players.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that actually. I played it. It was. Yeah.
And then the release of the SNES Mini, and it being on the SNES Mini.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So of all of the titles that have
it's
been
like one of the most forgotten and the bottom of the Zelda barrel to most people, I think.
Well, I think Zelda 2 holds that.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. That one's definitely.
That's a fair point. That's not.
Yeah,
Nintendo had a bad string of sequels on the NES.
It's almost like Mario they went through like 4 years of being on a bad bender. Came to ideas, right?
Yeah, they had some really, really interesting ideas. Let's be gracious there, because arguably the second Metroid game, which would have been released on the Game Boy, was better than the original Metroid game.
Yeah, that's fair. I remember playing that back in the day.
Yeah,
that's true.
So,
yeah,
that was a good one. Good one. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up with my surprise of the year. which that was Far Cry New Dawn. I played Far Cry 5, loved Far Cry 5. We found out in December of last year that Far Cry New Dawn was coming out in February, which was just usually expect a little bit more lead time on something like that.
Yeah.
Well, it did do a fair amount of recycling of assets and whatnot
Well,
from
the price
some.
reflected that too.
What's that?
The price reflected that too. Like,
Yeah, the price definitely reflected that as well. It did do a pretty good job of continuing some of the story of some of the characters from Far Cry 5, and I think for me, like, I appreciated seeing some of the redemption arcs that were within that story. And it was just an overall surprising experience. So
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that is all the time that we have here for today. We're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. But
And season.
season, yeah,
Yep.
we will see you guys in January. But in the meantime, we're still going to be doing some Twitch streamy things. Tell us when that's going to be, guys.
Yeah, it's Tuesdays and Wednesday nights.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Tuesdays we do
Wednesday.
co-op streaming, usually around 9:30, quarter to 10. And then Wednesday night, you start at what time again?
I try to do 8:39.
Yeah.
I've been playing Etrian Odyssey recently.
I don't even know what that means, but sounds fun.
It's a cool dungeon crawler first person wizardry like game.
Ooh, all right, that sounds fun. So yeah, so that's when we stream.
Yeah, so we've got that going on. Make sure that you continue to follow us on the Twitters at Roll the Level and on Facebook. And in the meantime, if there's some things that you are interested in hearing about here on Roll the Level, make sure you throw those things our direction. You can email us at rollthelevel@gmail.com. And until we speak again, we look forward to the next time where we get to help each other to roll the level.